All right, so let's jump into some MMA now. You are currently now a brand ambassador for Bellator MMA. So what are your thoughts on the upcoming 2015 season? Are there any fights you're looking forward to right now?
I mean, Pitbull against Charles. They're coming up over the map over here in California. And then, but on that card, man, not just Pitbull. I met him on the last Bellator in San Diego, and he wasn't fighting, he was just doing appearance. So I met him. We got connection, so we became good friends now. But I want to see George fighting, man. George is awesome. I fought with George before, and he's on the undercard, man. He's fighting Jenkins. The guy got awesome submissions. He's good standing up. So honestly, that's going to be a very interesting fight too.
All right, now.
But that was Mohegan Sun in February. Bellator now is doing once a month only. So Mohegan Sun in February is going to be the British invasion. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. All the British guys coming over to fight the American guys. So some good cards.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to hopefully be at that Connecticut one watching. It's going to be a great, fun show. But let me ask you also about another Bellator guy that's kind of sort of Bellator. What did you hear about when you heard that Quinton Jackson had signed with the UFC, while apparently he's still under some kind of contract with Bellator? I mean, is he in the right to join the UFC, or is he supposed to still be with Bellator?
I'm not sure about his contract deal, but I think the fighters should fight, you see, for whoever show they prefer to change around. I mean, if they fulfill their contract, they can change. They should be able to change. I don't see why not.
Okay.
As long as they fulfill the contract, I mean, if he still has fights left in Bellator, he should just finish that, get rid of the contract, and then move on.
All right, yeah, I agree with that. Now, what do you think about the UFC currently implementing uniforms for their fighters and taking over a lot of control with the sponsors? Is this going to be a good idea or a bad idea in the long term?
I think that's awesome. The uniform idea. And I already called the guys from Reebok, and I was like, man, that was awesome. And they said that's just the beginning, right? So wait what's coming out to see what's coming out. Reebok was already like, man, this is just starting. You wait and see.
All right, now, do you have any thoughts about CM Punk joining into the UFC? Is he the kind of guy that's going to stick around in mixed martial arts for the long term, or is he going to be a few fights and then move back to pro wrestling or doing something else?
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. I mean, it's a little different. I mean, he's going to get punched in the face for real now. I know these guys, they connect to each other. When they slap and open hand, but this one's for real. We're gonna see, right? If he might come in and beat everybody up, not even take a punch, cool. But if he comes in and take a beating, we'll see where his heart is at. If he wants to continue on that, or if he wants to just go back to the WWE.
All right, now we're running out of time here, but I just want to ask you a few questions about some old school fights now. And, you know, you had some tremendous fights in the very early UFC shows with guys like Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, Kimo Leopoldo. Who would you say was your toughest opponent from your time in the UFC back then?
My toughest opponent, it's inside of my head, my imagination. What I think the opponent's going to do to me. The opponent might not even be able to do anything. Like Ken Shamrock, it's first UFC, in 55 seconds, I choke him out. He couldn't even touch my face, couldn't throw a punch, couldn't do anything. So I choke him out in 55 seconds. But I still, when I look at his picture, I imagine no worse. So it's my imagination.
Was there ever an opponent when you were in the UFC where you started to get maybe a little bit worried? I mean, looking at fights like the one you had against Kimo or the Dan Severn fight at UFC 4, where you spent a lot of time being pounded on by these big guys. Was there ever any moments of panic or doubt, or was it always just, I'm going to finish this guy when I'm ready to do it?
If there was any doubts, I wouldn't walk in. Like watching Dan Severn picking up and dropping everybody on their heads and destroying everybody, a monster, 265. I'm 178 because when he faced me, he couldn't do a thing. I neutralize him. But that's the beauty of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It gives you the confidence to neutralize somebody bigger and stronger.
All right, now, you basically left the UFC after your super fight with Shamrock at UFC 5, and there was a few years before you joined Pride. But in between that time, were there any promotions that were trying to bring you in, and were there any fights that were trying to get made?
No, I just stay away. Because the contract says once I leave the UFC, I couldn't fight for anybody else. So I did my time. I didn't fight for anybody for a while. And then I went to fight for Pride in Japan.
And that's where you had, of course, the...
Pride. That's when I fought Pride Grand Prix right there in 2000. And, yep.
And yeah, we can't obviously ignore that fight because it's one of the best fights ever with Sakuraba. But so last question here. Obviously you're one of the most prolific and important men in the history of mixed martial arts. What do you think is going to be your legacy that you leave on the sport?
Man, I'm a product of my father's work. My father's the one that taught me everything. He's the one who did it. I'm faithful to show his technique.
For all you listeners at home, you guys can check out Scorpion King 4, which is going to have Royce Gracie, Lou Ferrigno, Don Wilson, Bigfoot Silva, a bunch of other dudes in it. Mr. Gracie, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to you today, and I wish you much luck in your acting career now.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, and have a good day.
Bye-bye.